What internet marketing expert should you spend your valuable time listening to? Listen to someone who has over 20 years of web marketing experience and hundreds of website marketing success stories. That man is Aaron Sparks from Site Strategics. And this is Edge of the Web Radio.
I recently gave a presentation last week at the largest business growth summit for Indianapolis. It was called Revenue North. And actually, Doug also spoke at that event.
I spec'd at it, too.
You spec'd it, too. And I wanted to thank the managers of the event for inviting me. And I thought, you know what? Hey, that's a pretty good presentation. Let's get this out to the audience that are listening to us on a regular basis that didn't get a chance to see it. What do you think about that, guys?
Jen did some mad live tweeting
gosh.
of your presentation. She did a great job.
Jen Lezik from Marketing DK Marketing. On top of it, I mean, I there was a lot of slides in this presentation. I went through a lot of different points, and she was right there transcribing on Twitter. So, I mean, if you want to go back and check out that entire history, I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, she's amazing at that.
Yeah, and it was amazing just to keep up with me because I was marching ahead. So thank you, Jen, for doing that. I truly appreciate it. All right, so the first things, if you're not aware of why SEO is important, search engine optimization, let's just cover some facts real quick. 61% of internet users globally do research online for products. And additionally, there are 44% of these online shoppers that started shopping using a search engine. Okay, that was a report that came out in 2012 from the Interconnected World Shopping and Personal Finance article. So there's 61% of internet users that do research on products such as yours, right?
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody does it. They're not looking anywhere else except for online search. And 44% of them are actually shopping. 68% of the search market is where Google is. Google's still leading the search engine environment, and that's based on a ComScore from June of 2012. And now check this out, 94% of searchers click on organic results, wherein about 68% of those organic results, those clicks went to the top 3 results of the search engine environment. Okay, so if you know what organic is, then there's a paid environment part of the search results, and then the true organic is what's coming up, maybe underneath the local pack of listings, maybe the
call extensions,
the Google controlled call extensions. But that true result is where the top traffic interacts with those listings. So the top 3 is what we call the golden triangle back in the day. And there's a lot of other research out there, but it's legitimate. There's no denying the fact that you have to be on organic listings. So why am I not at the top of those? You might ask yourself that question. If you own a business and you're paying attention to search engine ranks and you're typing in a particular service term or a phrase that you should be found on, why aren't you at the top? Well, there's a lot of things that can contribute to your potential and visibility of your site. And we're not going to go into everything, but I wanted to go after the 5 top tasks that you need to perform to be able to be in compliance, but on top of that, take care of your own SEO backyard. So there's a few factors here that I just want to mention. There's what's called on-site or on-page issues. There's also mobile optimization, and there's also the inbound validation of your site, the all inbound optimization or links that actually come and kind of bootstrap the value of your site. What I want to do is talk about the on-site or on-page concepts. There's literally a periodic table of ranking factors. You guys saw that during the presentation. That came from Search Engine Land. And it literally looked like a elemental breakdown of the factors that contribute towards success on SEO. And right down the middle was on page, and on the other side, off page relevancy or off page issues. My philosophy on what happens here inside of the SEO realm is one. I would say about 30% of a ranking element actually applies to the on-site or on-page factors, and that's where I say always take care of your own backyard first. Then you go if you can visualize different concentric circles going out, then you have site structure and how you categorize the content itself. Then going further out, There's factors of social engagement, and then further out, you've got maybe 30% of the ranking factors have to do with your inbound or content marketing factors. Would you guys concur about that? I got a breakdown of about 30%, 25% having to do with site structure, 15% maybe of social engagement, and then 30%, another very strong pillar of inbound references, citations, and the like.
I agree. And I think Google absolutely stands by that as well.
See, there you go. Well, there are layers that we look at when we're talking about our own site structure. There's layers that we look at when we optimize a website. So when we start looking at it, we go after the HTML, the actual coding itself, the basics of each page, and whether or not these elements are actually serviced inside each page, such as the title, headlines, content, the body content itself. Are these elements available at a per page level, or are there some holes missing in there, right? And we've got some scoring tools that actually allow us to dig a bit deeper. But another layer here is the quality of the content. Yet another layer is the site structure itself. Are you organizing the content correctly? Can the spiders actually crawl your own website? Now, what we mean by that is can Google bots, they send these programs to lap up different pages of your website. Does your site in some way, shape, or form impede that bot from actually going deeper into your website? If you're listening right now to Edge of the Web Radio, we're actually talking about a recent presentation that we gave at a business growth summit about how to take care of your own SEO backyard. So to get deeper into this, about the caretaking side of your own website, does the HTML title tags contain keywords that are relevant to the page topics? If you have your company name in your title tag, and if you're talking about something completely different in the body content, you have a dissonance. You're not actually introducing the page correctly. You need to have the title, the keywords in the titles or the headlines of your documents. Are the URLs short, and do they contain meaningful words in the page topics? Or for example, Doug, if you have a dynamic page that has page = 1, 2, 3, that's not conveying good information to the search engines themselves.
Right.
So the site structure and how the site processes needs to be evaluated. Are the pages well written? Do they have substantial quality of content? Right. And on top of that, like I said, can the bots actually crawl that? And we can actually see when a spider from Google is actually crawling it. If we're plugged into Google Webmasters tools, we can see the frequency of them coming back to the page and how often the pages are indexed. But there's an important other side to this of violations. Does your site actually violate some of these factors? Does your content have thin or shallow content? Is it lacking substance? In the realms of word stuffing, and you may have done this inadvertently. I guess I want to make sure that you understand this. We're not trying to be the SEO police here. What we're trying to do is give you some perspectives to look at the content. Do you excessively use words you want pages to be found for? Are you stuffing keywords into the meta descriptions or into the body content itself? Those are going to be red flags for the engines to pay attention to and possibly penalize you. And they won't tell you if they're penalizing you. Well, sometimes they do. They'll actually give you an alert on Webmasters tools. But you need to have a clean bill of health. Do you show, here's another possible area of I want to say negative work inside SEO. Do you show search engines different pages that you show your online customers? Literally, that's called cloaking. And the worst possible thing is, do you have content that is duplicated throughout your website? You want to avoid that at all costs, and you certainly don't want to have any content that's found on another website. Tell you right now, that's a sandbag of doom right there that will take out your site. Quickly go through the other things that impact your ranking and your vitality on search engines. One of them being mobile SEO, mobile search engine optimization. What's called responsive web design right now is a design approach where your site actually is crafted to expand and contract based on the different type of devices that are finding you online. I mean, there's a huge percentage of traffic that's searching on mobile phones. In fact, Mashable, a great online resource for information, just called 2013 the year of the responsive design. So, I mean, if you've seen you love that, don't you?
This is getting creepy, folks.
I like some responsive designs,
Right.
but it is somewhat limiting.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Well,
it's
the fact of the matter is, it's limiting also to have a desktop version of a screen come up on that phone. You know,
because I think what I see sometimes is I see a beautiful desktop site that really looks amazing on mobile and could look better on the desktop. And then sometimes I see a great desktop site that looks okay on a mobile device.
Roger that.
It's like they forced it. You know what I mean?
I agree, but I will say that responsive is just so much easier because you get two birds with one stone, and you get the mobile site and you get the desktop. It's not a mobile dot domain.
Right, but we have all these cool things on mobile, right? We have sliding and scrolling is easier and stuff, and so so you could build a unique experience for a mobile device and still do just as well.
But we do know that 60% of shoppers with smartphones search for a product before on their mobile device before buying anything, and even 50% of mobile searchers made a mobile purchase over the last 6 months. So there's absolutely a market.
My quote this year is, "If you're not mobile, you're not marketing."
I'm saying.
Serious.
I like it.
Yep, I dig it. And on top of that, search engines take note if you have a higher bounce rate on your mobile devices, right? If your site's not designed to help ferry that mobile interactivity, you will be dinged a bit because you're frustrating your users.
Yes.
Another point of optimization tasks to change channels real quick for your SEO backyard is social optimization. We know it, and if you didn't know this, it's a major factor of optimization. It's intractable from your on-site or on-page optimization. It's the social sharing. There was a report here that actually showed that the highest ranking factors are in social are Facebook shares and Facebook likes, actually passing value to that website. You need to have shareable content, and you also need to have interactivity inside these social spheres. It's just
and that's the important metrics. There is the engagement.
Yes,
it's not how many followers, it's not how many likes a page has, but it's the engagement. And if you're looking for somebody to do your social media, that's what you need to hold them accountable for. Are you giving good content that's being engaged upon?
Not just how much you're spitting out there, but is it getting clicked? Is it being received by the following base that they've got? Another piece to the puzzle is the inbound SEO. There's a study that came out that showed that through the Penguin updates of the algorithm changes from Google, they are reducing its tolerance for reducing its tolerance for web spam to the point where Google is likely to penalize sites with as little as 50% of suspicious links in their link profiles, meaning that they are looking at content on these other websites that link to you, and if there's some negative value there, they're going to be penalizing you. Now, how do you know whether or not you have some negative links?
Marketing Tech Blog actually had an article about a disavow tool.
That's right.
Ta-da!
Yeah, absolutely. See, there's the off-segment plug there. There's a great tool out there called Link Research Tools. It's a detox tool where you can actually scroll your own site's profile and see how many negative or toxic links are actually affixed to your domain. So if you're actually using some other marketing agencies to build links, you can see and value how good their link profile is.
Or if they're toxic.
The point is, you can also create a disavow tool that you can upload into Google, and that's very, very important. The last piece on this, and to make it real quick, is the authorship side of things. Google officially hates anonymity, and basically, if you don't have an author rank associated to your domain, then there's a factor that you are missing.
And we go through that in some of the previous shows, too.
That's right. Online, we actually have a show that is dedicated just how to create your author rank. Points are, you are not an author unless Google says you are. You have to play by the rules, Google's rules. You can establish your authorship right now. Just go check out Site Strategics. Look at our video. You can easily go through the steps. Add your Google profile to your WordPress account. Add it to your on page, your coding behind the scenes. Have your developer do that. And hey, we even have that online video that you can check out right there.
It's like Doug said, why do we do it?
Because Google says so. That's right.
That's it.
There you go.
All right, here are the 5 tasks to take on for cleaning up your own SEO backyard. Make sure that your site is healthy without broken links and doesn't trip the violation tripwire. Get yourself a mobile site if you don't have one. Social optimization, and share and have your content shareable. Inbound links, know who's linking to you and take action if it's negative. Last but not least, Google authorship is because Google said so. Hey, you know what? We're happy to have you listen to our Edge of the Web show on a regular basis. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking to you next week with some great new information. Have a great and blessed week next week. Talk to you real soon.
Edge of the Web Radio.